Hi, this is Allison with Bloom Culture Flowers, and in today's tutorial we're going to talk about a DIY ceremony backdrop. So as you can see, we've got a backdrop set up behind us. I ordered this from Amazon. They are actually apparel racks. I picked white, but you can pick, black, or if you want to spray paint it a different color. A lot of our brides come to us asking about different ideas for their ceremony pieces, and so this is a great affordable option. It's not an arbor. You don't have to have a traditional take on a giant flower wall or a giant greenery wall. We just thought this would be a really neat, affordable option. This whole setup here took maybe about 20 minutes to assemble, and it was $120. That might be a little bit out of your range if you're worried about budget. There are still other ways that you can make something like this really affordable, either at Lowe's, Home Depot, but we can get into that a little bit later. Okay, so supplies that you're going to need for today are obviously flowers. Today we're going to use a foam garland. These are really simple and easy to use. We are going to use zip ties that I've got in my handy dandy pocket. We'll use zip ties, and once we've soaked the floral garland or the foam garland, we'll use zip ties to suspend it up on the backdrop. One thing to note about the foam, just foam in general really, is when you are soaking the foam, don't push it down. You want to let the foam absorb the water and it'll submerge itself. So if you push the foam down into the water, you'll create pockets of air in the middle of the foam. So when you're sticking your stems in, you might hit a pocket of air or dry foam, and then the stem won't get water and it'll dry out quicker. So if you're doing this the day before, just be really mindful of that. If you're doing it the day of, you should be totally fine. But when you're submerging foam, just let it soak itself. So when we soak it, just drop it in gently, and it's not going to go super fast, so just let it soak slowly, and then you can kind of feed it in as it becomes more saturated. Okay, once your foam is soaked, it's going to be a lot heavier. So today I will be doing this installation by myself, but if you're doing something like this, a second pair of hands will be really, really helpful. So next I'm going to attach the soaked floral garland foam to the structure behind me using zip ties. Okay, so now that we have our foam garland attached to the structure, the next part is really easy and really fun. I like to add my greenery first and then backfill with the flowers. That way you're making sure that predominantly your garland or your arrangement or backdrop will look really full without using an exorbitant amount of flowers. So I'm going to start with some sprawling or long-reaching greenery. I'm going to start with Robellini today. So I'm just going to take a few stems of the Robellini and really just start placing them along the garland. Always put your greenery, or just your stems in general, put them in at an angle. And with this, you don't want to keep them too terribly long, so I kind of cut them midway up the stem. See, I mean, once we start adding the greenery, you'll just see how it just really starts to fill in. Another thing I like about the Robellini is it doesn't completely cover up the structure behind it. We still want to create a backdrop. We want to have transparency and be able to see through, because if you're having an outdoor wedding, you still want to be able to see everything that's behind it as well. This is just accenting the area that you're in. Another thing too is I like to work with the bend, the natural bend of the greenery or the floral. So if this is bending a certain way, I wouldn't try to make it go in the opposite direction. I'm going to let it flow naturally with where it originally wants to go. Don't be afraid to cut the stems a little bit shorter and take off some of the leaves if you want a shorter piece. Another thing too, you're going to be going one direction predominantly throughout the piece, but when you get down to this area, it's okay to switch around directions. Just make sure that it looks complete and finished at the bottom. Okay, so now that we're done with the Robellini, I'm going to start layering in and mixing in some other greenery components as well. I'll probably likely use some of the eucalyptus that we have here. A lot of times when you get the bunches, you're going to have a long stem or an offshoot like this. Clean it up and trim it. And then when you have these little pieces hanging off like that, I always save those. Chances are you're going to have your boutonnieres and your corsages done by the time that you do your large piece, but I still like to save these and just in case that you might be able to use them around the reception. Another thing too, the foam isn't really thick, so try to keep your stems short. A few places you might realize that you've poked through or pierced through the foam, and that's okay. Just cut your stem a little bit shorter. With the greenery too, I start putting a few stems dead center. Again, angle them, but you don't want to have just the perimeter or the outsides of your garland framed with greenery, because then you're going to need a lot more floral to fill on the inside. So don't be afraid to place some of the greenery. Don't put a giant, like a big honking stem like this, like smack dab in the middle, because that just doesn't look right. But break the offshoots down and then use the smaller pieces like this to help create some interest and create fullness throughout the piece. Again, now that our eucalyptus is in place, I'm going to go back through with some of our leather leaf, create some more interest. Again, I just treat it in layers. I just keep layering on greenery. Again, if you don't like a placement, take it out and change it, snip the stem shorter. There's nothing wrong with that. Cleaning up some of your stems as you go, making sure everything looks really good and really full. So I'm going to move on to some of my salal. We use salal quite a bit. It's a really affordable greenery, and a little bit can go a really long way. Gives you a lot of bang for your buck. I just kind of will throw it on the ground in front of me and then start picking up from there. Again, shorter stems. I have to keep saying that in my head. Shorter stems, shorter stems. And in between greeneries, sometimes it's easy to take a step back and make sure that, that everything's looking good. Sometimes it's hard to see holes or spots that need to be filled when you're so close. So just take a step back every once in a while, and that'll really help you see where your greenery needs to go and if there are any holes that you need to fill in. Okay, we've reached a point where I feel like the garland is starting to look really full and lush with the greenery. So right now I start with more linear blooms like the stalk. I typically like to use these components for adding a little bit of reach, a little bit of length that you might not get with some of the shorter stem things like roses or spray roses, which don't necessarily add a lot of length, but they can add bulk or fullness to your floral arrangement. So I like to start in with some stalk. Again, if you don't hit the stem length right on the head right off the bat, that's okay. You can always go back in and fill in or change that stem length a little bit too. Cleaning the stems. You don't necessarily need all that greenery if you want it. You can take off some of the chewy petals as well. Again, I like to keep using some linear blooms to fill in. These are snapdragons, and they've got just the most gorgeous deep burgundy color. And depending how many that we've allotted for you to use, just not necessarily use them sparingly, but just make sure that you spread them out. Okay, so I'm gonna start to fill in with some of our roses. A lot of people ask me, is there a rhyme or a reason to how I do this? I kind of have my own personal approach to it, but even some of my assistants approach it a little bit differently. Sometimes they like to use some smaller flowers and then fill in with larger flowers. For me, I like to use some of the bigger flowers and then fill in with smaller flowers. But you know, if you're working with something and you're just feeling like it's not really working for you, or you know, you want to start filling in with some of the smaller flower, feel free to mix it up a little bit. This isn't the Bible. It's just an approach to doing this. I've been doing floral design for over 10 years, and sometimes something works and sometimes it doesn't. So I say just continue to layer in your floral, and you know, as long as you've pulled your recipe and you have the specific allotment of floral, you know that you won't use more floral than you're supposed to, and that you should have enough floral to finish out the arrangement. And don't be afraid to keep these stems long. Not that you would thread it through the foam, but just to keep a little bit of length is okay for some of your flowers and some of your roses, like that. So these are a little bit shorter, and that has a little bit more reach to it. And I might, since these are a little bit low, I might kind of spread them out a little bit more. And giving your arrangement in depth with having different stem lengths just makes it look a little bit more professional. So try not to keep everything so condensed and packed in. I'm going to continue to place the roses, but you know, just take a step back every once in a while, and I kind of see there might be a place for a rose right here, and then definitely finish out the bottom of the arrangement. Another thing too with the roses and basically all of the flowers, just change up the direction in which you place them, and that helps create some variety and depth to the arrangement as well. All right, moving on to the next flower, I like to use carnations. I really think that they have really made a comeback in the floral industry. They have a really great price point. And the varieties that are really popular now are like an heirloom variety or a vintage variety. These are the terracotta carnations. They open up really beautiful. They have an amazing price point. So I'm gonna go through and place these guys throughout. And if they need a little bit of help opening up, that's okay. Just kind of gently work your fingers in there, just help them open up. Unlike roses, you can't just blow on them really hard and open up. They have a really tight bloom when they come in. So if they just need a little bit of help coaxing, just use your fingers to help them open right up. Another thing that I want to talk about too is sometimes you'll lose a stem head and it'll kind of break a little bit. We'll show you techniques that either you can wire these or keep these for like a cake decoration. If you want to have a few blooms on your cake, just save those, and those are perfect for that. Okay, now that we have the carnations, again, I'm going to keep saying this, it just really starts to pick up speed and you really start to fill in all those holes. So keep going. Now that we've used our more affordable flowers, I start filling in with some of our filler flowers and maybe more expensive flowers like spray roses. We have some dahlias here that are a little fickle, but these ones came in beautifully. So we'll talk about flowers that are good for arbors and flowers that might be a little bit more tricky. Dahlia is definitely a tricky one. We'll start to fill in with some of our specialty garden roses. Again, depending on budget, some people might be able to have some garden roses sprinkled throughout, and others might just need a different standard rose that looks similar to a garden rose. But we just wanted to show you the different types of varieties and how to apply them. I'm going to take our spray roses. And what I really like about spray roses is they have a little bit of a cluster to them. And so instead of just having one big bloom, they have a bunch of different little blooms on them. All right, so I'm gonna move on to some of the hypericum berries. I love using hypericum berry with my DIY brides. They are just a neat little berry. You can get them year round. You can get them multi-colored. You can get them in different colors so that you don't have to feel like it's a Christmas celebration or a holiday celebration. These have like a really beautiful pink coral color to them, which I think really helps accent this palette. So with these items, you want to make sure that you disperse them evenly. The bunch size is about 6 to 10 stems per bunch. So you don't want to group them all in one area. Just make sure that you disperse this type of bloom or flower throughout the arrangement. Okay, with the hypericum berries placed, I'm actually going to start using some of our specialty flowers, which are the dahlias. Dahlias are pretty tricky, like I said earlier. So a lot of times dahlias will just continue to bloom and kind of consume themselves, but it'll be hard to get it to face a certain direction. So just see where it lands naturally, and then that's where I'd place it. They also have a lot of really pretty offshoots that I like to use too. Just use every single component that you can and get the most bang out of your buck with these. I'm taking a step back and taking a look at the backdrop, and I love the airiness. I love that you're able to see through it. Just as long as you're not able to see the foam or the mechanics of it, I think it's beautiful, and I think that's okay. Just make sure that if you take a few steps back that you can't see any foam, but other than that, just keep layering in a little bit more. Again, we're gonna use some of the specialty garden roses, but we're only gonna be able to use a few because they're just such an expensive flower. But I did wanna showcase them and some of their color palettes too. See, it just adds, you know, another layer of color, another texture in there, and a little can go a long way. If you've filled in the rest of your piece with predominantly more affordable flowers, you can still have touches here and there of really beautiful varieties that are a little bit more expensive. This is an example of what I was talking about earlier about how you may need to zip tie some of the foam cage back just so that it doesn't start to lean a little bit forward from the weight. So if that starts to happen, just get another zip tie through the netting and just pull it right back up. Okay, now that I have all of our specialty flowers placed, what I do at the very end is I go in with something that's called a filler flower, and it does just that. You use the filler flower to fill in any holes that you don't have any more larger flowers to do, or you don't have any more money to do. So filler flower, a little goes a long way, and it's so helpful to fill in all the little holes and spots without adding more to your budget and without adding more floral. So our filler flower for today is going to be Feverfew. This can be a tricky flower as it doesn't ship really well, but it's also highly seasonal. So I like to use Feverfew because of the sweet little blooms, and I love using it in the spring. It's just very light and airy, and it does a great job at filling the holes. So you'll see what I'm talking about as we go through and add little peaks and little hints of the Feverfew. It'll just take it to another level. Another helpful tip is sometimes with more delicate blooms like this, they can become entangled with one another. So be really gentle when you're separating them out and try not to snap the heads. All right, guys, we have just finished our ceremony backdrop installation. As you can see, once you've added the Feverfew into it, it just takes it to another level. It adds another scale, it adds a little bit of more dimension, and this wasn't as hard as everybody thinks that it is. So just keep adding flowers in layers and just keep going, and your finished product is gonna look gorgeous. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us. Our email is hello@bloomcultureflowers.com. And again, I'm Allison with Bloom Culture Flowers, and thank you so much for watching our tutorial.